be here to talk to you about two of my favorite topics, which are Academy 4, but also the 107 fourth graders that are going to be joining us at Hilltop Elementary in Azle next year. That's the largest class we've ever had, which is part of why we are here. But I wanted to talk to you about why Academy 4 exists, what we do, and the impact that we have on our community. I've been with Academy 4 for about a year. Is this your second or third year?
It's my fourth.
Fourth year for Tim. So we've experienced the program all the way through. We've gotten to see the way that relationships are formed, the way that lives are changed. So Academy 4 exists because 16% of the children in the Fort Worth area live in a state of poverty. Out of the schools that we serve at Academy 4, which is over 60 schools, 8 out of the 10 students live in a life of poverty. And as you can imagine, there's a lot of challenges that come with that, a lot of obstacles that these kids face. And so Academy 4 saw the need for that, and they have stepped in to provide positive relationships for these kids. Positive relationships with adults are the most important ingredient in promoting positive development for these kids. Mentoring can change everything for these kids. Research shows that positive relationships really make a difference. Our mission, as I said, is to provide lives changed through relationships. And we do this through our signature program, which is called Academy 4. Academy 4 provides a mentor for every single fourth grader at that school. Not just a small group, not just the kids that are in trouble, all the children at the school get a mentor. Later on, I'll touch on this just briefly because it is coming to Azle, but the goal of Academy 4 is to sort of wrap the school in the program and all the ideals of being a leader, of being a listener, being an encourager, all the things that we instill in the kids. When they finish fourth grade, we don't have fifth graders at Azle yet, so this isn't a possibility, but they're coming next year. When a child has been mentored as a fourth grader, in Leaders 5, they go to mentor a first grader. And I think that's such a cool picture of them putting into practice the things that they've learned. Later on as well, we have started a program for the families. It takes a while for the community to know who we are, kind of what our goals are, and as their kids are loving Academy 4 and talking about us, then we invite families into the school and program that's about 6 weeks that talks to them about positive parenting, how we can support them as families. And that's been going on for several years, and it's a really positive, it's kind of a longer term program, but our church in particular is really excited about that. So that's coming down the pipe, but for now, we provide, like I said, a mentor for every student at Hilltop. I forgot to say, I am the site coordinator at Hilltop, which basically means that I'm in charge of getting all the mentors together, doing what they're supposed to do. The students are where they're supposed to be. It's not a small job, but it is super rewarding. My other hat that I wear is I'm the pastor's wife at First Baptist Church Lakeside. So our church is the sponsoring church for Academy 4 at Hilltop. We provide probably about 50% of the volunteers, but we need help, and that's why we're here. We have so many other students that we can't meet the need for them. The pastor did put a video about what Academy 4 looks like a little more on Facebook, and I think I'll send you another video as well that just shows an example of what the day looks like. It goes so quickly. 90 minutes really flies by for both us and for the kids, and it just is a way to impact them in a simple, organized way. The first thing we do when we get there is we have what's called a Spark Club. And this isn't as much in our information, but it's a big part of what we do during the day, and we do need help with this as well. In the mornings at around 11:45, we have 10 different clubs that we host for the students who are basically taking over their whole Friday. We get to see them from 11:30 till 2:30. And those Spark Clubs are intended to give them a spark of interest in something that they might could do with their lives. It might be music, engineering, art. There's lots of different topics, and we're open. If you have a passion that you are wanting to share, it could be anything from jiu-jitsu to pottery, lots of different ideas.
Gardening,
Yes, we have gardening clubs. We can make that happen. We do have some core programs that we provide all the materials for, though. All you have to do is just show up, look through it, and lead it, and it's got some fun activities with the kids.
Those meet in 2 groups, so it's 2 groups of 45 minutes. And I do need a lot of help with clubs this year. With our increase in enrollment in Azle, we have 30 new kids this year that we didn't have last year. That means more clubs. And so if you have an interest or you enjoy sharing your hobbies, your even professional abilities, then come and see me, and I can talk to you more about that as well. But the 90 minutes that we spend in the afternoon is what the bulk of our volunteers do. And literally, you show up each month wearing your t-shirt. We do that for child safety as well. You're allowed onto the campus because you have this t-shirt on. And it's really important that we designate who's an adult that's supposed to be there. When you wear your shirt, you show up. We have a workbook that we go to. I have an example back on the table that has the different characteristics we're trying to encourage in them. Listening, encouraging, having a good attitude, always being a learner, being a lifelong student, as we were saying earlier, being a good example, and serving others. We have an opening introduction meeting and then a celebrating at the end. So that makes up for 9 different mentor times. And as we get to know them, as we get to spend time with them, it's just an amazing benefit that we experience. And the most powerful thing for me, partly as a pastor's wife, but just as part of a community too, is all of us coming together. You'll notice that your church forms some new bonds as you're serving together in this way, because you look around and the room is just full of children and you're all doing the same thing. You're all there for the same purpose. And it's such an encouragement, especially as a pastor's wife. Like, it just really fills you with hope that, you know, we're all together in this. We're all wanting to love and serve. And it will definitely encourage you. I will send out that video about what that looks like for an Academy for Friday. But the impact that Academy 4 makes is really kind of hard to explain unless you've experienced it. You might ask Sherry or Carol or Trent to kind of go over this. I was in my first year seeing the program, and so I was just trying to kind of keep my head above water, make sure everybody was where they're supposed to be, everybody was safe. And I didn't really even experience the full impact until April. We had all of the students, last year we had 87 students write a letter to their mentor. And y'all remember getting your letter, I'm sure. And I had to read through those first, or about to read through those first, to just kind of make sure they were all appropriate, and they were. But the thing that the children said over and over again is, you showed up. You were there every month. And it was so simple, you know, just the fact that you were giving them your attention, that they were just, you know, soaking that up. And they have so much to give you as well. I had volunteers who said, you know, I told my kid that I liked puzzles, and she said, I don't really like puzzles. But the next month, she comes over with a puzzle. And they want to please you. They want to just enjoy what you enjoy. I had one, this is kind of more of an interesting example, but one little boy had really long fingernails, like claws. And the mentor that I unknowingly paired him with was a very kind of put together, proper, you know, former school teacher, just always, you know, so put together. And she was sort of horrified by his dirty fingernails. And she said, oh, well, you know, have you washed your hands? And he said, no, I need my claws for wet mitts. she said, oh dear. And so she wasn't judgmental about it. She just, you know, loved on him anyway. Spent time to him about, you know, well, maybe make sure you keep them clean, make sure you watch them. And in the very last month in May, he came up and he said, look, Miss Connie, I clipped my nails. And, you know, it's just something so simple like that, where they're listening and they are really soaking up those kind of positive examples. That's a small thing. But just that attention and that their demeanor changes over the year. My husband was a mentor as well. And his student was so shy, so quiet. He was new to the community, that was part of it. But after the year went by, you could just see a lifting of his head. His shoulders were back. He was much more engaged and talkative and just excited. And it teaches them so much about how relationships are worth it. And we say all the time that, you know, our mission is to change lives through relationships. And I think I said this to Pastor Trent. It does change the life of the child, but it also will change your life. You will see just such reward and pouring into a child's life. And they are so excited to see you. When they find out their mentor is coming, they literally jump up and down. They love their clubs. They like that time. It's important, but they want to see their mentor. We hold up an airport sign in the cafeteria with their name on it. It's kind of like when you're having a limo or something fancy and they see their name, like, oh wow, that's for me, and everybody's cheering. and they just feel so special and so loved. And that's such a unique experience for a lot of these children who really don't have anybody that's pouring into them that way. They just are so in need of that kind of support. And it's so simple. You really don't have to do a lot of prep. I'll send out the workbook, the example the week before, and you can kind of peruse and look through, okay, what are we talking about? We're listening. But sometimes you don't even go by the script. You just talk to them. I find that sometimes they're a little bit closed off for the workbooks. As you go through the months, they'll get a little more comfortable. But it's when you play games with them in the second half that they really start to talk to you. And they really start to tell you what's going on. And they say, you're so cool. Are you coming back next month? And they just make you feel so good. So I just really invite you to join us in that mission. We are at Hilltop. I have the dates on the inserts back there that show you every time so you can know. If you can't make it to at least 7 of those, we could still use you as a substitute. We have lots of things come up in the lives of our volunteers, as you can imagine, illness, emergencies, things like that. So we always need help. I say if you sign up for a sub, just know that I'm going to ask you every time. That's fine. I mean, if you can't, tell me, but I'm just going to ask you every time, hey, are you free? Can you come? But we don't want people to say no because they don't think they have the time. Even if you show up 3 or 4 times, you've made a real impact. We also need help with people that will pray for the program. Even if you can't be there physically, you can pray for us each Friday, and I hope Pastor Tim will encourage you to do that. Say, hey, we're going to Hilltop on Friday. Keep us in mind. Keep praying for these kids to feel the Spirit move. And then if you know someone, if you think, well, this isn't really for me, but hey, my neighbor really likes that kind of thing, please just spread the word. There's plenty of brochures back there you can take. You can share them with your friends and family. And even if you don't really like being around kids, I could always use help with cleanup and setup. So there's a note in there what the crew does. Basically, we have all these clubs with equipment. You know, we set up for basketball and for golf, and so there's a lot of like moving things around. So if you're just like that kind of behind the scenes, kind of I just want to serve and then go, it's just a brief amount of time that I could use you. So don't feel like, you know, I don't like kids, it's not my thing. There's always somewhere where we could use you to impact the life of that school and our community as well. So thank you for letting us come. Like I said, I'm really happy to invite you to join us on our mission, and then we'll be around afterwards, and I think that even at the potluck for part of that. So if you have any questions or anything you need more information about, please don't hesitate. And I think Trent and Carol and Sherry can also answer questions about what it's like. So,
if I could share one thing, this is my 4th year, and I didn't think it was for me. It was kind of like, well, I don't really have that much to share with a child. But I want to share a story from last year. I am the coordinator, such as she is, but I'm at North Elementary in White Settlement. So, and we have 170, 180 kids. So it's an undertaking. It's a lot. But the 3rd time in, the principal came up to me in tears. I mean, really crying. And I thought, oh my goodness, something's happened. You know, somebody's hurt, something like that. The little boy's name was Alex. He hadn't worn a smile all year. And that day he cracked a smile with his mentor, and the rest of his year had changed. I just wanted to share that with you, just 90 minutes. And you ask, what can I give? Your attention. They need a positive relationship. We want them to, everybody that serves in Academy 4, we want them to feel known, cared for, and loved. And I think that's our mission. So thank you very much.
thank you.